Vyrah, reporting for duty. Another time together. Let me just check if I'm about to lose all my work or not. Right. Okie dokie. Right. I still actually don't know. Let me just check. Okay. All right. Okay. Let me just check. Okay. So, let's get into it. I am about to check out some what's new on the web, on the internet. Let me try to be funny for God's sake. It's been more than a year and I'm like, I still don't know how the fuck do you do an intro. All right, so we're gonna do some doom scrolling, basically, like doom scrolling without TikTok. And so let's start this thing. Right. New and reimagined zones. Let's check this out. Feed Fiamma collects. As always, if you don't forget to leave a big up to Fiamma collects and to leave them some love. Thank you so much, Blizzard, for like updating us about the impending doom that is about to crash on our computers. All right.
And I'm here to talk about the open world of Mid. Hey team, I'm Fiamma, and I'm here to talk about the open world of. Hey team, I'm Fiamma, and I'm here to talk about the open world of Midnight. The new expansion raises the level cap of our characters to 90, and the journey to get there will take us through a handful of zones and stories. With the freedom to choose the order of our adventures, it can be helpful to know what's in store along the way, so we'll dive into how exactly that works, each of the chapters of our leveling campaign, and what magic you can find if you care to look. Don't worry, there are no spoilers here, so it's safe to watch if you want to experience the stories for yourself firsthand.
Yeah.
When Midnight launches, all of us will be called to defend the Sunwell. Xalatath the Harbinger has launched an all-out attack with her Void army, and we will fight for our lives in the introductory scenario, introducing us to a few major characters with big roles in the story ahead. After the battle, we meet in Silvermoon City in all its revitalized glory to plan our next moves. If you're keen for a tour of our new expansion,
if you never knew, because technically like Silvermoon is kind of like this type of like capital cities that are kind of left out by now. It was always left out. So basically like it's a great thing that like Silvermoon is actually capital, because even basically when it got released during the Burning Crusade, it was too far away actually for it to be popularized, and something that is actually a city that was actually full of life, and basically it's a good news because a lot of people never experienced the beauty of of oh my fucking god, I forgot the name. Silver Moon, right? And a lot of people, just even me, didn't got the chance to appreciate the architecture of Silver Moon. So this is a good news overall, because these are like the type of lost capitals. Let me tell you about another one that was the case. Darnassus. Like, it was always this type of, like, it was too far away, and by the time it became easier to actually like navigate to, it was already like too late, because we were in places like Shatrath that were like basically neutral capital cities, so both Ord and Alliance. So yeah, let's keep going.
Glory to plan our next moves. If you're keen for a tour of our new expansion hub, check the description for a link to that video. All players will then quest through the gorgeous revisited Eversong Woods, accompanying Arator as we learn about recent challenges the zone is facing, thanks to a handful of familiar faces. From here, we have a choice. We can follow Orwena back to her home of Harrandar to meet the Haranir and learn about their culture. We can visit Zulaman and discover more about the Armani trolls. Or we can travel the Eastern Kingdoms with Arator as he learns what light versus void really means. All three of these chapters will need to be completed during your leveling journey, but the order in which you complete them is entirely up to you. Once all three are done, we can travel to the Voidstorm, a zone full of hunger and violence, where everything is a threat and nowhere is safe. This is where we'll reach the level cap, rejoin our allies, and take the fight to Xalatath. But before we can get that far, our journey begins in Eversong Woods. The Dead Scar has been healed, Silvermoon City has been rebuilt, and the revamped Eversong Woods now also includes what used to be the Ghostland Zone. The whole area has been expanded and reimagined, with a graphical update too. This is where we'll all start our leveling campaign, with little tastes of the stories to come. Join Orwena to learn how an infusion of light has helped Eversong Woods regrow. Sometimes, though, there can be too much of a good thing. She's surprised to find creatures native to her home up here on the surface, and they're behaving very strangely. Meet the Armani trolls stepping outside their territory. The light-infused trees here provide the perfect materials for weaponry. There's still bad blood between them and the elves, but the enemy of my enemy is my friend, and we definitely want this enemy gone. Follow Arator across the zone as he learns of a variety of issues caused by the looming storm overhead. Meeting with Magister Umbric in Tranquillion, something's not quite right with the locals, and he needs our help investigating. Arator's dealing with some internal conflict too, to be expected when the battle of void versus light is embodied by mum versus dad. Each of these threads continue on into one of the three choices we have to quest through next. We'll need to explore all three eventually, so follow your heart. While you're traveling through Eversong Woods, it's worth taking a moment to have a look around. There are so many gorgeous little things to see. Something not so little, cutting through the entire zone, is what used to be the Dead Scar. If you look carefully, you can just see the remnants on your world map, and I'd recommend taking a self-guided tour along it. It's so lush and beautiful, alive with many different creatures, and at the very top, just as you leave Silvermoon and cross the bridge, is a resplendent statue along with a painter attempting to capture its beauty on canvas. At the opposite end, be careful as you approach the shadowy area of the map. There are some
So I'll just say a little critique. It would have been nice to actually see the before after. I expected that. Not too much. I don't want to be bitchy about it, but it's just like I said about Silvermoon, these places, people don't fucking go there, and the problem is that because people don't fucking go there, I'm just watching and I'm like, yeah, it will be nice to know what the fuck changed, because I haven't been there in 17 years.
Strong enemies here, but veer off the healed scar and follow the road south to find Thalassian Pass, a shining memorial to the sacrifices of the past. The memorial plaque here is worth a read. After the discoveries she made in Eversong Woods, Orwena invites us to follow her home to Harrandar,
Oh wow!
an ancient place hidden among the roots of the world trees. Here we meet the Haranir, beings who tend to these roots and live in seclusion, choosing not to interfere with events in our world. As we quest through Harrandar, we'll learn not only about the
let me just
Harinir and their traditions, but about the history of our very world and its special connection to this zone and its people. Through learning their rituals and facing their trials, we have a chance to earn the trust of the Harinir and invite them to join our fight, unlocking them as an allied race at the end of this chapter of the campaign. The whole zone is grown rather than built. All the buildings have been lovingly crafted and are a living testament to the Harinir's connection to nature. Look up, see the tree roots curling and weaving through the sky, and take a look in the northwest of the zone, where Teldrassil's roots can still be found. The little details here are a
Okay, yeah, these ones are absolutely gorgeous. God damn, I'm getting a little lost because ADC, hyperactive type of mind. Not gonna lie, like this is quite this makes me quite happy about the game, like so many things that are changing in between housing and between like new class changes, but also god damn, it's always nice to see some fresh new zones, see what they prepare to what Blizzard prepared to us.
Reflection of the destruction we saw above ground. I'd highly recommend getting a view of the zone from above too. Maybe even try to fly into the big glowing area in the sky in the middle of the zone, with the roots curling around it. Wonder what you might find there. Things have always been tense between the Armani trolls in their home of Zul'Aman and the Blood Elves of neighbouring Eversong Woods. Though there has been an uneasy peace of late, the invasion of Twilight's Blade, Xal'atath worshipping cultists, has threatened to send everything into chaos for the Armani and their leader, Zul'Jara. The granddaughter of Zul'Jin, she is seeking to protect her people alongside her brother and advisor, Zul'Jan. For this chapter of the leveling campaign, we'll be exploring the expanded zone of Zul'Aman, learning more about the history of the Armani trolls, and journeying with Zul'Jara in order to fight back against the Void invasion. Those familiar with Zul'Aman the dungeon will recognize the entrance to the zone, but the way it's been expanded and developed is breathtaking. The architecture is impressive, even when it appears neglected as the temples have been. Take the time to visit each corner of the zone, with temples for Akilzon the Eagle, Halazi the Lynx, Janalai the Dragonhawk, and Nalarak the Bear. Each has a tablet for you to read if you'd like to learn more. The eastern half of the map appears to be missing though, and trying to visit has you choked by fog. What could it mean? The light users reinforcing the Sunwell can't keep it up forever, so Alonsis Fowl has tasked us with finding relics of the light to help strengthen their resolve, and we're taking Arator along for the ride. Travelling across the Eastern Kingdoms, our journey will lead us to learn more of the light and how it works, visit familiar locations and meet with old friends, all while helping Arator understand where he comes from, exploring his father's legacy and where he wishes to end up, what kind of paladin he hopes to be. Travelling zones of old allows us to revisit our history and check in with what's been happening since we last stormed through. It's worth taking some time to explore the places we find ourselves. You never know when you'll find a lovely spot to sit, rest, and take in the view. Those relics we're hunting though, each of them leads us to dive a little deeper into the life of the paladins who owned them, see what we can learn from their stories and how they lived, what they truly valued, and use that to push forward into the battle ahead. Once we're done learning, recruiting aid, and planning our attack, it's time to take the fight to Xal'atath. With the help of Magister Umbric, we tear open a portal to the Voidstorm, a desolate landscape shaped by and infused with void energy. Here, everything is eat or be eaten. All sorts of void creatures are ready to devour the weak for their power, and Xal'atath, with her devouring host, is at the helm, in charge of it all. Not everyone is happy with this leadership though, and alongside Illyria, Arator, and Lothraxion, we meet the Dominar, highly intelligent and powerful void beings, and learn more about the Harbinger's origins. The Void Elves, experts in all things dark magic, are also here to help put a stop to Xal'atath and research the nature of the Voidstorm. The Voidstorm is as beautiful as it is dangerous. The desolation stretches for miles visually. The sky is pocked with holes to who knows where. The plant life feels like we might find it growing in the darkest depths of the ocean, and the Void Spire dominates the skyline no matter where you stand.
Wow.
If you thirst for the blood of the opposite faction, be sure to head north. The Void Posts in Slayer's Rise need capturing, and you'll need to slay all in your path to do it. So much to learn, do, and see on our journey to level 90. Where will you go first when our companions part ways after the Eversong Woods chapter of the campaign? Will you head east to meet with the Armani and learn of the Loa? Will you dive beneath with Orwaina and recruit the Harinir? Or will you bolster our defense of the Sunwell with relics and light? Once you've aided them all, prepare yourself for the battle ahead, and I'll meet you at the Void Spire. It's time to face the Void, champions.
I absolutely love. So because there was no because there wasn't any before after. So the problem is, let me actually recheck that. So really varied, actually, now that I think of it. This reminds me of a zone in Zangarmash. This reminds me of Zangarmash. If you do not know what Zangarmash looks like, okay, it keeps on going. It kept on going. Where is it? Okay, Zangarmash. Where is it? Oh, here is this. So let me show you. I actually love Zangarmash. So let me show you. It really looks like this. See how similar it is? I really love the cozy, the vibey type of ambience, and here you can like get it. Thank you so much. Actually, like, it's not that long. I'm quite excited about it. Like, this reminds me of Nagran if like it had like bigger trees. Let me yeah, it does a little bit of like everything, and it's interesting enough. I'm guessing that like it will be even more interesting once we get into it. Thank you, Blizzard, for letting us know what's about to come, and Fiamma Collects, big up to you too. Let's keep going.
Anime?
Okay, so if you don't know Giga, give this man $1 billion and then another $1 billion, than $1 trillion. This man is a legend. If you like anime, this is pretty much like this man created an idiot-proof way to actually get like the best of the best when it comes to anime, and like without having to watch all the anime from the season, because he's the one who is doing it. So yeah, this man's a legend. So yeah, big up to him. And let's check this out. Winter anime in a nutshell. Let's check out what he found out. What he found great.
You need to chill out. Anime? You need to chill out. I'm out here trying to cover all the new shows.
Let me just check real quick. What the fuck is going on? Because I just need to check my VODs. Okay, everything's working.
But how is any...
Okay. So, winter anime in a nutshell. Give this man $1 trillion. And after that, give him another $1 trillion. Haven't you learned?
Anime? You need to chill out. I'm out here trying to cover all the new shows, but how is anyone meant to give them a chance when there's barely enough time to keep up with all of these juggernaut sequels all coming out in one single season? It took literally a single episode for Jujutsu Kaisen to take over the anime community again before dropping an entire light novel chapter over a single frame. To which the fan base replied, I ain't reading all that. Not because it was too much, they actually just can't read. I can't even hate though, because the start has been firing on all cylinders, producing some of the most artistically creative action, referencing some of the greatest scenes in cinematic history. That's right. One Punch Man Season 3. We got more Hell's Paradise. This one hasn't quite gotten to the same level of hype as some of the other shonen action shows, which is a shame, because it's got a unique world with a lot of interesting things going on.
Yeah, Hell's Paradise is really interesting because it takes first off, it does a take on Taoism and Buddhism, where actually, like Buddhists, what they're known at, being weak. An anime, like, I respect Buddhism a lot, and I think that it's like, when it comes to teachings, it's teachings about peace, but at the same time, it's really like a faith that is quite seen as something weak, because it's just basically a lot of people that tells you love each other without basically, they didn't have any crusaders, they didn't have basically they were always peaceful. And basically Hell's Paradise offer you a take about Buddhism that is actually like, if you like these people where they look badass, and that's actually really cool, because Taoism, there's this idea of loving nature. There's also it circles with Japanese mythology, with yokais and everything. So basically it gives a take about people that I really care about, where they look badass, not weak, but badass. And that's something that I really like about Hell's Paradise. Character design and animation and art direction are also top notch. So yeah, just give it a try if you never saw some Buddhists and Taoist. Taoism is another branch of Buddhism, being badass, basically. So let's check it out.
Season 3. We got more Hell's Paradise. This one hasn't quite gotten to the same level of hype as some of the other shonen action shows, which is a shame, because it's got a unique world with a lot of interesting things going on. See, the interesting thing about the power system in Hell's Paradise is that it's completely derived from self-cest. I'm gonna let the viewers think about that one for a second. There's the third.
If you know, you know. That's absolutely disgusting, but if you saw, you understand.
Season of Oshinoko, and while manga readers have flinched in disgust, I think the season
Oshinoko, give it a try. It is. So you don't like romance anime? Ever heard of the hype of K-drama? It's basically K-drama, but the Japanese version. Oshinoko is really top notch as well. This is give it a try for season 1 at least, because it is that
It's going to
good.
explore some interesting stuff. If I remember correctly, we'll really get to see Ruby flex her power levels this arc. And the interesting thing about her power system is that it's derived from Insect. Trigun Stargaze is bringing the final season of the Trigun remake. Fire Force is also in its final season. And from the out of context clips I've seen, there are some absolutely insane things going on that makes me want to catch up. Free Ren has finally returned. And while I'm dead excited for this,
Gave a try to Free Ren. Free Ren is such a slow burn. Like a slow burn, I don't know. Like it's something like it needs to ignite. It's the difference between gasoline and diesel. Diesel actually needs to be. It is more complicated to actually like light up, right? But at the same time, it is something quite like once you get into Free Ren, you'll never be the same. Like for real, it is basically like you just need to get into the space, but it is worth the adaptation, worth the time it took.
I'm not sure what the series could possibly do to surpass the masterpiece of the first season we got. Hold on a second.
This is for you, Majin Buu!
The My Hero Academia spin-off is continuing, coming off the back of the exceptional main series finale. I'm going to be keeping an eye on this one, but can it ever reach the heights of moments like this from the main series?
Tomori Shigaraki was my hero, do you understand? And he was a gamer like me.
Speaking of gamers, we got some sad stories about gamers too. Hell Mode Hardcore Gamer is about a true gamer who just wants to find a challenge. He browses the web to find that one title that hits, but far too often he's left with one all too familiar scene.
So actually, I'm quite fluent in French. If you don't know what fin means, it actually means end. No, because I see this a lot, and I kind of forgot that, like, so in like a lot of people might know, but a lot of people might not. Basically, fin means in French end, but like the end, and basically like this is kind of like what's going on, you know.
終わったたった3年でサービス終了とか
Damn, that's crazy. It's been 3 years since the launch of Honkai Star Rail, and today they are celebrating with the release of their new region, as they are also the sponsor of today's video. There's no way they're going to approve this segue. Honkai Star Rail is a game that I know nothing about. Nope, absolutely nothing. Definitely not know the lore, the characters, and spent way too much time playing this game. Look, it's an anime game, okay? But I've heard that it's a game about traveling around the cosmos, going to different planets, and right now they have just introduced their new world, Plan Arcadia, a subculture state where fantasy lingers in reality, entertainment transforms life. A thriving world blessed by the Eon Aha. Wait, isn't that the Eon that gave some of his almighty power to a worm? What the hell is this world going to be like? And when the Astro Express crew arrives, the latest Phantasmoon games will also be underway. And of course, with new worlds comes new characters, like Yao Guang, the first universal support character of Elation, a proud and haughty young lady with the elegance of a peacock. And there's also Sparksy, the Elation's first damage dealer. She's a Persona Sparkle created to ride the internet trends as Plan Arcadia's top streamer. Oh my god, they made a VTuber. And version 4.0 is also packed with rewards. A free 20 pull, Ruan Mei's brand new outfit, your choice of a limited 5-star character, plus 1,600 Stellar Jades await. You can also join the event for a chance to win the big prize of 100 Star Rail Special Passes. So, what are you waiting for? You can download the game by clicking the link in the description and using the codes on screen for some Stellar Jades. Editor, can you please copy and paste these codes to my account? Thank you very much. Thank you to Honkai Star Rail for sponsoring us today, and with that said, back to winter. Damn, an anime set in America? What the hell's gonna happen here? For one of the wildest concepts of the season, we have the Darwin Incident, starring the most unique protagonist you're gonna see in winter.
There is no mistake now. This baby is a hybrid born of a human and a chimpanzee. A humanzee.
The fuck?
Only in anime would you get a political thriller starring a humanzee hybrid created by a doctor named Gross Man, set in America being attacked by a terrorist organization led by Obama, who are terrorizing America because they are, I shit you not,
vegans.
and have it be played 100% straight. Look, I gotta give credit to the American characters though. He goes to high school and he's not bullied because he's a different race or for his looks, or that he's a failed half-human animal experimental abomination. They're just bullying him because he's vegan. This is a series that has the potential to use its insane premise to explore some interesting ideas, if it's able to balance out some of its self-indulgent philosophical musings every time someone asks Serious George a question here.
Say there was a mouse carrying a deadly disease for humans. What would you do in that case, huh?
If it was me, I think I'd shoot the mouse.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate. A new Fate set in America? What the hell's gonna happen here? Yes, we got a new Fate anime in the good old US of A. America have entered the fray, deciding to hold their own Holy Grail war with guns and burgers and freedom for some reason we don't understand. Oh shit, is that oil?
We're gonna keep it.
If you're unaware, at its core, Fate is just a hypothetical Fortnite battle royale, except you get to match up some of the most legendary figures in history and see them fight. Take a person like Alexander the Great, living up to his namesake as one of the greatest generals the world has ever seen, commanding an army that never knew defeat, never lost a battle, becoming a symbol of the Greek Empire that the world still remembers to this day. But can they stop playing Messi? Typically in war, they're hired the army that never to his namesake as one of the greatest generals the world has ever seen, commanding an army that never knew defeat, never lost a battle, becoming a symbol of the Greek Empire that the world still remembers to this day. But can they stop playing Messi? Typically in war, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6... a large number of servants paired with a large number of masters, and most importantly, the war must be conducted in secret. Strange Fate contains a collection of some of the most varied and insane characters the franchise has seen. Something that's on brand as it's written by the creator of Baccano and Durarara, two series about eccentric, larger-than-life characters coming together to create absolute chaos in a shared setting with no true protagonist. This franchise was tailor-made for someone like him. Add to that Hiroyuki Sawano bringing his signature hype in the music and A1 Pictures producing, in my opinion, some of the best action spectacle I've seen them do, and this may be just some of the most fun you can have as a Fate fan. But alongside that, we have the Holy Grail of Eris, meaning there are two big shiny Holy Grails on display this season. And this one is not holding back at all. Beheading, death by dancing. I'm just glad we have a villainous anime with a villainess that actually looks villainous.
Imagine, like writing a TV show, writing like selling an anime about the villainess, but she's not the villainess. Am I right, people? Right?
Next up we have... Oh, sorry.
ジャスティン・ビーバー歌って。
When a show starts off with a cold lady adopting her estranged sister's daughter because her mum passed away in a car accident, you know what ride you're about to get on. This is going to be a heavy show, and it is clear right from the first 5 minutes. But for those whose hearts are prepared, this might be the most powerful story you're gonna find this season. It's a depiction of grief that's not over-dramatized, never in your face, but it's such a human retelling of what it's like to process emotions you can never prepare for or teach yourself how to face. It's only when you do find yourself in those situations that you can only learn yourself, through numbness, pain, and tears, just what kind of person you are. I would say this feels like the kind of show you would need to prepare your emotions for, if it didn't already make me emotional within the first 3 episodes. This is a story that feels so intimate. I can't help but think the creator must be sharing experiences deeply personal to them to be able to portray such emotions on screen. And it sucks that I already know this is going to be one of the best shows this season. Not enough people are going to be watching.
I've heard about this one. Pretty sure like the team is really passionate about projects. You can see that. I'm really curious to see what Gigak has to say. As a reminder, give this man $1 trillion.
Oh shit.
Damn, you having 5 babies?
This season, we are absolutely feasting with great romance anime, whichever subgenre you are looking for, starting with one of my most anticipated, You and I Are Polar Opposites. Anime fans have never quite financially recovered from the Gyaru takeover Marin Kitagawa initiated, but this time we actually get to see things from the girls' perspective, which is a cool idea, but we all know how it goes now, guys. It looks cute right now, but we'll see how it is in another 2 seasons when somebody actually tries and shoots their shot. Wait a minute.
Oh.
Wait a minute. She's taking the shot.
Is this the dagger?
Honestly, this might be one of the most awkwardly wholesome romances I've seen in recent times. Normally, I'm not into this kind of thing, but aside from being just cute, it's so painfully relatable at some points. The guy googling how to keep a conversation with his girlfriend and getting caught. The two of them having completely different reads of a movie they watch together that make them understand each other just.
Okay, this is exactly why I was telling you this man $1 billion. I am actually putting this on my next watch. I've seen the trailers about You and I are polar opposites. But Gigak really sold me out like on this one. It's on Crunchyroll, fucking awesome. This is really awesome. Okay. So I'm joking about Gigak being like such a good YouTuber. This man is actually like really that good. When I said it earlier, if you want to discover anime without having too much to think about it, actually, like, this is exactly why I was telling you about it. It was like I wasn't sure if it kind of like was on my radar. I found it really interesting, and the team really seemed passionate about. But it's just like time is not of the essence. Like everyone has a schedule. But the way that like it portrays it is like, okay, this is a jackpot for me. Like, I want to watch this romance anime.
A bit more. The show so perfectly captures what it's like to be in that honeymoon period with a new partner. Nothing too cliche, nothing too over the top, just two dweebs awkwardly navigating a new relationship with each other.
Let's go.
Idol arrested, charged with domestic violence.
Next up, we got a girl who takes care of her male idol who's actually cripplingly anxious whenever he's not on stage. Oshi the Rock. I was ready to clown on this one, but it's honestly a well-produced, self-aware comedy featuring a boy failure and a girl failure in one. The show feels like it's tailor-made for every Stray Kids fan who's aware enough of the pitfalls of the industry and wishes they could potentially help their favorite through the worst of it. After Oshinoko, I think we deserve a happy show about the idol industry for once, not you. Alright, despite my first thoughts, this ain't gateway yaoi, this ain't even tomboy tomfoolery. We just have a shoujo starring a cool, androgynous female lead, and you know what? I kinda dig it.
I actually saw the trailer for this one. Like, I think that like it's good vibes, and like I said about many slice of life and romance anime, these animes are actually something that will not put you on suicide watch, so will not make you depressed watching them. You'll have a better day after watching them than you had before, and this is why like I recommend these type of animes rather than shonens to basically like anyone and everyone, because it is quite a good time, and you don't have to pay for the drama, or you don't think about like darkness, like death, or like suffering. You just watch it. It feels good. It feels nice, and then you can keep up with the day because you watch some like you got like you watch something wholesome, and you got something wholesome in your day.
It's honestly just refreshing to see a character archetype you don't normally see in romance anime, with a dynamic that is just two chill, popular people being chill with each other, finding out that as chill as you are still not immune to charms. This one really surprised me. On the complete opposite end of the spectrum, we still have some trashy harem rom-com. Now, everyone knows, in harem anime, the childhood friend gets a 10-point buff in the race to the finish line. But what if we even the playing field by making everyone the childhood friend? That's right, anyone could be the winner here. We just don't know. It could be the tsundere, the tan tomboy, the smug one, the short blued-haired girl. Even the girls are getting their fill of harem this year, as we have a new reverse harem anime featuring a protagonist who came from America? I can't say I'm exactly the target audience for this, but I remember when the manga finished, it was fairly popular for the genre it was in. I mean, that was pretty recent, right? That's still recent, right? I mean, come on, I remember when this was coming out. I mean, how old are kids born in that year still? I'm never gonna emotionally recover from this. What's
Jesus Christ.
Sentenced to be a hero? Captain America? Last year, Cleavertez reawakened my appetite to see more brutal, old-school dark fantasy shows, and thankfully, Sentenced to be a Hero has come along at just the perfect time to satiate it. A world where heroes are actually treated like villains, demon lords aren't fuckable, and pint-sized anime goddesses are weapons of mass destruction, fueled by the power of headpads that can also do this. Bruh. Sometimes you immediately get the vibe about a fantasy show that doesn't just lift off the same fantasy templates so many others fall into. It's got some interesting world mechanics with its hero system. The monster designs aren't the same cookie cutter creatures you see everywhere. There's a lot of little things, like how they fuse a lot of magic and technology in the devices they use, yet they never explain them. They just show that they exist as a device that seems to be logically functional. Little details like this shows the thought put into the world building. On top of that, it's being directed by the same guy who directed this episode of Mushoku Tensei Season 1, which is one of the best episodes in an amazing looking season, and that insane bar of quality has absolutely transferred over to the hour-long premiere. This is some movie level production values. So, how's the story itself?
We're going as fast as we can, right, Tatsu?
It's aight. For the insane production values behind it, we have a pretty standard revenge plot about a man who got framed, a protagonist who is angry, and a church who is not the good guys. No way. Which is not bad by itself. I'm just hoping it doesn't fall into the same trap of having the hero party being the only competent group of people in the world that hates them. We'll have to see how the story shapes up overall, but it's still probably going to be better than your normal fantasy or isekai show. Did someone say isekai?
Oh, nice. What the fuck?
Oh my god, it's like my favorite
No
yes, can't be an isekai nowadays without the patented man baby wanting to suckle on his mama's titties, sponsored by Mushoku Timu. Sometimes I watch a show I just can't get a read on. On the surface, this is your typical isekai reincarnation slop, but then I'll have these moments of self-aware comedy, or hit me with a scene that has a surprising amount of heart in it that makes me think, wait, is there actually some potential in this? Then the guy just brings out lines like this. And I realize I can't relate to this. I have nothing in common with this man. I have some things in common with this man. It's the age. It's the fucking age, okay? Nothing else. You know, I don't know how it's taken this long for a dragon to be added to the list of things isekai protagonists have been isekai'd into, but I guess here we are. Bro, it kind of looks like a cross between a Digimon and how Power World would rip off Charizard, but the animation's actually more decent than what I would expect for a show with a concept like this. We got a salaryman who gets isekai'd and immediately becomes an accountant. Alright, I know it sounds like we're running out of ideas at this point, but maybe this isekai is just trying to explore something deeper. I mean, tell me this isn't the ultimate power fantasy of modern work culture. Dude migrates to a foreign land, immediately gets employed, gets promoted, gets paid a fair wage, bangs another dude, gets surprised to be in a workplace where employees get to leave on time, gets respected by his boss, is full-on bareback protein extraction mana transfer. Maybe this could be a commentary into the tough Japanese work culture and a succinct exploration of the current employment landscape. Did he just say he bangs a dude? How's this for a tagline? One man's trash is another man's treasure. Noble reincarnation. Well, at least they're self-aware about the target audience of the show. But guys, stop everything for a second, because I got some big news. Another protagonist has been kicked out of the Heroes Party. Shit! Blood's even got the Kirito preset for the full beta experience. But you know, out of all the kicked out of the Heroes Party anime, this one's kind of enjoyable, actually. I don't know, something about the concept of a guy who's queued up as autofill his entire life, reaching his full potential by not filling in from random roles, scratches this part of my brain I didn't know I had. Alright, what's next? Kunon the Sorcerer Can See. Huh. In anime's continued effort to adapt to its aging core audience, we now have fantasies about people with lower back pain. Surely this can't continue forever, or in a few decades we're gonna get things like my Viagra makes me overpowered even at level 1 in the strongest class with the weakest skill. This is actually kind of adorable though. Nice father-daughter vibes, just wholesome vibes all around, and this girl is the cutest thing you can ask for, and she turns into a succubus at night. Great. Who made this? Who's responsible for this?
Police! Help!
But hey, she's not the only cute daughter on display this season, as we got the Demon King's daughter is too kind. Let's see what this adorable cinnamon roll gets up to. God damn, they teaching weebs how to do laundry now? Wait, hold on though. The vibes, this beautiful setting, the way the main girl describes the process so sensually. Why am I low-key getting invested in this? Ooh. Damn, this really makes me feel like I'm doing the washing. If watching Beast games isn't dystopian enough for you, then how about a maid-centric death game where the protagonist is trying to survive 99 games out of her own volition? This is basically high elo surfing with a death game twist, but what makes it truly stand out is the director, whose previous work was an absolutely incredibly beautiful and atmospheric series about a guy falling for his stepsister. But that atmospheric approach is cranked up even higher here. This feels like a mix of Monogatari, Madoka, and Squid Game. The OST and sound design are immaculate. Gore is replaced with cotton wool, which honestly makes it even more disturbing.
So I will be honest with you, these are like the animes that are actually too hard for me. Like I used to watch this and with absolute like fear, and now I just surrendered and I gave up. I cannot watch this. This is too hardcore for me. Well, like, if you like it, good for you. What the fuck? Do you need an exorcist or something? Because I don't know these things. Or to find one.
Hear the screams of pain as characters are brutally murdered to the sight of light, fluffy visuals that only serve to dehumanize the characters playing this game. This is one I'm definitely going to continue watching. And from there, we have a wholesome romance of a blind girl and her soon-to-be invisible husband, which is just a totally adorable match made in heaven. A girl who can't see and a guy who can't be seen, which means they just have...
Okay, this is the most funny, but like really cute, adorable, funny that I've seen in a while. A man that cannot be seen, so an invisible man with a blind girl. Okay, this is kind of like what I told you about like watching romance anime or slice of life anime. This is kind of like basically like the idea. Like I just watched, like it just told like the basics of like the synopsis, so what the story is about, and it already makes you have a better day, you know?
The most innocent relationship you can possibly ask for, because how could she possibly thirst over nothing at all? Nothing at all. I need a moment.
No, you got this. You're a man. Be a man. Get a hold of yourself. Shut up. I'm cool. We cool? I'm cool. I'm good. I'm good. We're cool. You're the man. Don't forget. You're the man. I am the man.
Alright, I'm good. My Anaka Heart tune, because this season anime looked at all the romance shows available and said, nah, I got one more in me. This hasn't been the only harem rom-com to come out recently, but I don't know. I got a feeling about this one. Maybe it's the setup, maybe it's the girls, maybe it's the protagonist, but I feel like this is going to be the one. The Nisekoi, the quintessential quintuplets of the new generation. I've felt this energy many times before, and it's all too familiar. The calm before the war has started. And you know what? Maybe 10 or so years ago, I'd be right in the trenches fighting, because this would have been my kind of show. But I've done it so many times now that I feel like maybe I'm just getting a bit too old nowadays to get invested in a show like this. It's once again time to enter the holy battleground of wives. I am no god, I am just a mere man, but I'm here to tell you to sell everything and buy into the pink-haired twin-tailed tsundere supremacy. It's been a rough decade for us, but we are so back because I'm here to tell you, this is it. This is our time. Tsundere supremacy will rise again. I'm calling on all of you for this once-in-a-lifetime generational investment opportunity. We will be the winners. We will be on the right side of history. And at the end of it all, we will be the ones laughing in the face of the crime. You know, I just can't see myself getting as involved as I used to. Hey guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you very much this month to Author Curtis Eckstein, Shouting Zombie, Tubazo1989, Basil, Payne Patchett, Water Guy.
Thanks so much, Giga, for this video. Don't forget to give him love and $1 trillion. Because really good YouTuber. Isn't that the minimum that we shall offer to him? Okay, I'm just joking. But yeah, thank you so much, Giga. As always, like I told you, really good YouTuber, really good content creator that allows to just like find who finds the pearls when it comes to animation. For you, he did for me today. So yeah, big up to him. Subscribe to him if you can. Yeah.
who would you be trapped on a desert?
Okay. The strange history of Bullet for My Valentine. Remember the good old days listening to Bullet for My Valentine? No. There's a couple people that still fucking do for some reason. Alright? So you'll enjoy it with us. And for real, it's that good. For real, it's that good. Okay? Alright, so let's check it out. If you never heard about the punk rock NBA, it's actually quite a fucking legend. So yeah, check him out. Let's check out what the fuck what did he cook about the Bullet for My Valentine.
The island with. Well, I'd love to be trapped on a desert island with my son Evan, and I wouldn't like to be trapped on an island with Donald Trump, because he's a douche.
Metalcore is easily the most relevant style of metal these days, and one of the bands that put that on the map, especially in Europe, is Bullet for My Valentine. They were one of the very first metalcore bands to sign with a major label, hit the Billboard Top 10, and even go platinum with their debut album The Poison, in a time where that was almost unthinkable for a band in their genre, especially a European one. And even now, 20 years into their career, they show no signs of slowing down. With almost 5 million monthly listeners on Spotify, they have multiple songs that over.
Ever heard about Tears Don't Fall? All these things I hate? No? Hate of Blood? They are classics for a reason, for real. Like, you gotta check it out. Like, if you love emo or gothic type of music, just like fucking give it a try. This is like bloody beauty. Like a beautifully. Oh fucking no, it's just good. Listen to Bullet for My Valentine.
100 million streams, and they seemingly headline half of the big European festivals. And so the question is, how did 4 guys from a small town in Wales go on to form one of the most popular metalcore bands of the past 20 years? And most importantly, what is their lasting impact? Those are the questions that I will answer in this video. And also, I'd like to thank Factor for sponsoring this video. Eat stress-free this season with Factor's delicious, ready-to-eat meals. Their fresh, never-frozen meals are chef-crafted, dietitian-approved, and ready to eat in just 2 minutes. And best of all, they're delivered right to your door. That means you can skip the trips to the grocery store and all the chopping and the prep and the cleanup and all that, while still getting the flavor and nutrition that you need. And if you eat out a lot, it's also a great way to save money. It's cheaper than takeout or even worse, delivery, which number 1 is insanely expensive, and number 2, the food usually shows up cold and it sucks. And also, they have a ton of options. Personally, I like Calorie Smart, which is less than 550 calories per serving, but they also have options like keto, vegan and veggie, and more. I love that I don't have to think about what I'm going to make for lunch. I just go downstairs, I pick something, and I know that it's going to taste good and I'm still going to hit my macro goals. So if you want to check out Factor, and honestly, I think you should, head to factor75.com or click the link below and use the code PUNK50 to get 50% off your first Factor box and 20% off your next box. That's code PUNK50 at factor75.com to get 50% off your first box, plus 20% off your next box while your subscription is active. The precursor band to Bullet for My Valentine, called Jeff Killed John, very local band name, was formed in 1998 by Matt Tuck, and they released a few demos and EPs. And while I'm sure that the guys in the band would agree with me that this stuff is a little bit rough around the edges, you can still hear the foundation of what was to come in the future.
Oh yeah, you can notice that like they already found at this point their style when it comes to their jackets. Like you can see the like the writing is the same. You can see the same roses and stuff. And it's right. Like you can hear already like the vocal of the sonorities of Bullet and what is about to become Bullet for My Valentine.
After that, they changed their name to Bullet for My Valentine and signed a 5-album deal with Sony BMG and released 2 EPs that were much closer to what was to come on their full-length album, with a lot of those tracks ending up on the album itself. And
you heard this. It was 5 seconds of the song. Don't tell me it's not the fucking sauce. Don't tell me it's not the... Don't tell me Bullet Valentine is not one of the greats. If you believe that, don't tell me to my face. Don't tell it to my face, alright? I'm quite fucking like sensible.
After that, in October of 2005, they released their first album, The Poison. And if you were around back then, you know that this album was absolutely huge. It essentially catapulted the band to almost mainstream levels of success almost overnight. And one of the most interesting parts of the story to me is exactly how they went from a local band to one of the hottest metal bands on the planet. And the answer to that revolves around their relationship with Trustkill Records. And if you're not familiar, Trustkill was one of the bigger labels in the 90s hardcore scene, who put out bands like 18 Visions, Throwdown, Poison the Well, and Disembodied, among many others. And Trustkill had a proven track record of being able to take bands from sort of that DIY hardcore world and getting them to that sort of Headbangers Ball or Ozfest kind of level. And so they were approached by Sony UK, who had originally signed Bullet for My Valentine, to basically help them build the band in America, at which point Sony would take over again once Bullet for My Valentine had gotten to that we've got a radio hit kind of level. And so Josh at Trustkill did what he did best, which is marketing. He spent a huge amount of money on the band. For example, distributing over 100,000 sampler CDs with other more established Trustkill bands like 18 Visions, paying for the Tears Don't Fall video shoot in some random godforsaken Florida swamp, and ultimately handling the American release of 3 things by Bullet for My Valentine. First, the Hand of Blood EP in 2005, then The Poison in 2006, and the live Brixton DVD. It was basically mission accomplished, and so Sony took the band over again. And with it being such a huge success, they approached Josh at Trustkill about doing that whole thing again with other bands. Although ultimately he turned them down because the pieces of the puzzle just didn't quite fit as neatly as they did with Bullet. And musically, most people would accurately describe this as 2000s metalcore, but I think it has a particularly unique flavor to it. If I were to describe it, I would almost say it's like My Chemical Romance and Metallica had a baby, while also sprinkling in some melodic death metal influences on top. And that was a very...
So as much as I respect absolutely his opinion, but like sometimes when it comes to like art is really subjective, right? This is, I usually agree with everything that the punk rock MVA says. This is the first time in my watching him where I'm like, absolutely not, god damn. But I respect his opinion absolutely completely, but it's just like, it's really funny to tell myself, god fucking damn on this one. I can agree because I respect what he says and his opinion, but at the same time, goddamn, I do not think the same way about Bullet for My Valentine at all. Like, I think that like it is more of a mix of, I actually didn't thought about it, but not at all what he said. But it's not spike or anything. It's just like sometimes, you know, between artists enjoyers, like you just have opinions that are not that do not connect, even if you love the art and even if you actually like vibe the same way, right? It's just like, goddamn, on this one, like it's just surprising that like I just told myself absolutely not, but like I can understand where it comes from, but like I think that like it's something else. I just had to point it out.
Very unique combination at the time, but it worked. Another thing that I think is worth pointing out is how much of an emphasis on riffs and solos they had compared to their peers. At the time, Bullet for My Valentine was considered an emo band by a lot of their peers and the media, probably accurately so because that is sort of where they fit. But the fact that their music was a lot more guitar focused than a lot of other bands in the genre, I think really set them apart because at the time that was very different for the genre. Most of their peers weren't really guitar oriented bands, with of course the notable exception of Avenged Sevenfold and maybe to a lesser extent Atreyu. For the most part, their wave of sort of emo-ish metalcore was really more about the cute frontman, and the vocals were really the centerpiece of the song. And so for Bullet for My Valentine to emphasize guitar as much as they did, I think really helped them carve out their own place in the genre and also align them a little bit more with the metal side of things. And to ride that wave of success, they promoted the album with a relentless schedule of global touring. A pivotal moment for them was their performance at Kerrang! 25, a singular show at the Brixton Academy in London in January of 2006, which was captured on their very first DVD, The Poison Live at Brixton. But still, with all that success, there were questions, because it's actually pretty uncommon for a band to have so much success so early, and so they were faced with a tall order. Anytime a band has this kind of breakthrough success with their first album, what you oftentimes see is that they're never really able to live up to that again, and they become one of those bands that just sort of peaked early and never really did anything else. A lot of people expected them to be one of those bands, and on top
Yeah, basically like they fell off, and then they started to release more albums. And actually, let me check. When was the last album that dropped? Yeah, so last time they actually yeah, it was in 2018, 2021. So they keep like doing good stuff, like God's work.
top of that, Matt Tuck also had to get surgery because of problems with his voice, to the point where they were almost considering getting a new singer.
So the road to kind of getting a voice back was at least 6 months, and after that as well, then I had to get a tonsillectomy because I was getting ill all the time. Immune system was ruined, yeah, and I was just kind of getting reinfected every 2-3 weeks to the point where I was kind of bedridden for 4 or 5 days.
But as most of you know, that obviously wasn't the case, because they pushed through all of that, and in 2008 they released their second album, Scream, Aim, Fire. And it's fair to say that for as many questions as people had about them, they managed to keep the momentum going, with the album debuting at number 4 on Billboard, number 5 in the UK, and number 4 in Australia. All 3 of the singles topping the UK rock chart, and a ton of their songs getting placed in video games. For example, the song Hearts Burst Into Fire got into NHL 2009. All in all, this album was a massive success and answered any of the questions that people may have had about them. And musically, they essentially picked up where they left off from The Poison, but they sort of dialed back the emo side of things and dialed up the thrash side, to the point where honestly I would say it's just like a straight up thrash metal album that happens to be a little bit emo adjacent, with a lot of people thinking that this was the best thing they've ever done. But things would take an even more different turn on their next album, Fever, which came out in 2010.
Wow.
And this time they went in more of a rock direction. Compared to their previous albums, it was more melodic, it had less screaming, and while fan opinions vary a lot on what the best album is, depending on whether you like the emo or metal or rock stuff, personally, I think it's hard to deny that this is the catchiest stuff they've ever done. And commercially, it was also their most successful album to date, debuting at number 3 on Billboard, number 1 on the Billboard Rock Chart, certified gold in the UK. Again, all around a massive success for the band. But even though their first 3 albums are to this day regarded as classics by their fans, the same thing unfortunately can't be said of their next album, Temper Temper, which came out in 2013. It's by no means unlistenable, but compared to their first 3 albums, it does feel kind of uninspired and just bland. It seems like they were more or less going for the same kind of thing they did with Fever, but for whatever reason, they just didn't really hit the mark with it. But with that being said, the album certainly does have its moments. For example, Tears Don't Fall Part 2, or the opening track, Breaking Point. But things would take a turn in a more positive direction with their next release. In that same year, they released a single called Raising Hell, where they returned to a similar sound as Scream, Aim, Fire, which was received extremely well by the fans.
By the way, absolutely out of this world singer and singers, but also wow, if you get into the technique of how good they play the fucking guitar and how good they are as musicians, it's also something to appreciate when it comes to this band, as much as their art in general. They are so technically not gifted, but technically talented and just creative. It is something that is like if you know a lot of metalheads, you probably fans of metal, like that plays the guitar, that are into emo core and like scene and stuff. Like basically, some probably will tell you, yeah, I tried to play some Bullet for my Valentine songs, and then I remember that I'm not a fucking pro guitarist, you know, prodigy at the guitar, you know.
And after that, in August of 2015, they released what fans consider to be their return to form album, Venom. Musically, it's kind of like a combination of everything they've done in the past, while also being the heaviest thing they've done so far. It also had the more melodic, catchier moments, kind of reminiscent of Fever. Overall, if you like Bullet for My Valentine, you can definitely find something that you like on this album.
Have you nothing to say? Can't you see what you're
By the way, like for some reason, like the singer is such a fucking like an LP top model. Like I just find it like really offensively like pretty, this dude. Like I don't know what's wrong with him, but it's just like really like he has like, he just carries this good vibe, you know. It's just like you watch him, it's quite mesmerizing, it's quite hypnotizing, you know.
I really think the whole album itself is kind of a callback to the Poison. Like I'm pretty sure calling the album Venom, which is sort of a synonym for poison, I don't think that's a coincidence. And on the back of that, a year later, they released a single called Don't Need You, which ended up being one of their biggest songs. And it was also kind of indicative of the direction they would go on their next album, Gravity, which came out in 2018. They essentially ditched their thrash roots and that at the gates style of melodic death metal riffing completely on this one, and opted to go for something instead that was kind of reminiscent of nu metal. Most critics were not particularly positive about it, with the most prominent example being Metal Sucks, which gave it a 0.5 out of 5, while calling it, quote, the bastard hybrid of Linkin Park style radio rock. And once again, fans were also split on this album. Some loved it, some absolutely despised it. Personally, I applaud them for taking the risk and going for it. Did that risk work out? Some would say yes, some would say no, not at all. But either way, I always support an artist who tries something. But despite the mixed reception, after that, they decided to go into uncharted territory once again. In a 2020 interview with Rock Sound, Matt Tuck had this to say about their upcoming album. It couldn't be more of a contrast with Gravity in a ferocious style. It's very technical. I don't know why. You've just got to go with what you want to go with. As a band, as a musician, as a songwriter, you've just got to go with what's floating your boat. And this time around, the heavy stuff is just coming out in masses. The riffs are crushing. There's probably 60% aggressive vocals, 40% clean, which is a ratio we've never really dabbled with before. It's very heavy, it's very technical. For the Bullet fans out there that kind of like that side of the band, it's very cool and very exciting. And honestly, at this point in their career, they really didn't have anything to prove as a band. They already had these all-time classics under their belt. They're festival headliners pretty much anytime they want to be. So they sort of had the ability to do something different on every album, and they took it. And so with all of that sort of build up and context, in November of 2021, they released what is, as of now, their most recent album, simply called Bullet for My Valentine.
Oh.
And Matt was not lying. This is definitely the heaviest thing they've ever done, with most of the tracks being scream-oriented, as he said, and at times having moments that really wouldn't be out of place on a deathcore song. Although that's not to say that the album is all heavy stuff, as it still has their sort of trademark hooks and big catchy choruses.
Oh. Oh.
So while I personally wouldn't call this their best album by any means, it definitely stands out in their discography, and again, I love that they tried something different and new, and I certainly recommend that anybody would check it out if you like anything else that they've done. Which brings us to the final question of this video: what is their lasting impact? For one, they're part of this trio of 3 bands at the time that I think is responsible for getting millions of young people into playing metal guitar, those bands being Avenged Sevenfold, Trivium, and of course Bullet for My Valentine. Because all of them sort of came up at the same time, and even though they sound pretty different, they all had that same common thread of emphasizing these metallic technical riffs with a lot of solos, which again wasn't really common at the time. But I think their biggest contribution is being sort of the bridge between the world of emo and metal, because they appealed to kind of both the My Chemical Romance crowd as well as the Metallica crowd. They managed to bring together people from both of those scenes, which at the time really didn't cross paths at all. On the one hand, they got millions of emo kids to check out more stuff from the sort of real metal side of things, while also at the same time exposing people from the metal world to now maybe being open to giving stuff like My Chemical Romance a fair shot. And they were by no means the only band to sort of have one foot in both of those worlds, but I do think that they were one of the biggest forces at the time to sort of bridge that gap between metal and emo. And with that being said, I have no idea when they'll decide to hang it up. They've been going for over 20 years now, and they seem to do very well for themselves, headlining festivals and still drawing huge crowds, and with a new album coming probably this year or next year. But whatever they do, I know one thing is for certain, which is that we will look back on them as one of the most definitive bands of their generation. All right, my friends, that does it for this video. As always, let me know what you think in the comments. And also, I would like to thank everyone who supports me on Patreon, especially those of you who support at the True Cult level or above. Patrons get all my videos and podcasts early. I do Q&As, sometimes I do giveaways.
Thank you so much, Punk Rock MBA, for this documentary about Bullet for My Valentine. For real, I've been joking about it. Give this band a shot. Bullet for My Valentine is really something else. And the Punk Rock MBA, this man is really, like, this man really knows what he talks about, is really passionate about. And just like everyone else, he fucking hates alternative metal. So, you know that is someone reliable. No, he doesn't hate it, but like anyway, yeah, so give him some love, and yeah, he's a fucking legend. All right, indie game Alaria's Blessing. Let's check this out.
They say I made this world and every living thing on it. While I admit to having meddled, I'm not nearly as powerful as they claim. Despite all my effort, life seems unable to exist without conflict.
There's no point sacrificing ourselves for complete strangers.
Who said anything about dying? We should fight and win. They need our help.
You're arguing morals when a delicious meal is right in front of you? You both have your priorities wrong.
They did not know it, but this trio was a special project of mine.
Do you ever feel like the world's trying to punish us for something?
If it is, I'm not sure what we did to deserve it.
I had no grand destiny planned for them. They were simply 3 people moving through the world, living their lives.
I'm haunted by memories of losing friends. But recently, these visions, I've seen my own death.
We've made it this far together. We'll pull through fine. You worry too much.
I'm not certain why I grew so attached. Maybe I was just lonely.
My father didn't deserve to die. I won't forgive you!
Hold on!
After all you've been through, it's only fair you get to hear the full story.
Okay, this looks interesting. I love the art style, the artistic direction. So the choice of style when it comes to colors, when it comes to character design, when it comes to combat, it's really 50-50. Like it either hits or misses, you know. Like the story looks interesting enough, and it's cool that like you share a small team, like actually they are quite like fond of each other, so they like each other. And when it comes to combat, so this type of combat, believe it or not, quite addictive. Like it really depends, but like it looks like it doesn't like what this is the type of games that are not really like awesome to watch, but are really something else to play. If you never played it, hopefully like they'll be a success, because small indie company actually won. I really wish them the best. Like I like so far like the story, and they really like seem to be passionate about their game, so and their projects. They really seem to love their projects. So yeah. Alariel's blessing. Yeah, interesting. Okay, To You in the Beyond, first teaser trailer. Ever heard of anime? Ever heard that like anime movies are quite awesome? So let's check it out. I never heard about this one, so let's check it out. I see. Well, this is kind of like the problem with teaser trailers. The soundtrack sounds like a fucking banger. The art style is absolutely beautiful. Well, the least to expect usually. Like I saw Sakamoto Days, like it takes Cosmic Princess Kaguya. I've seen this one actually. No, I've heard about this one. Character design and chief animation. Oh, interesting. Pretty sure slice of life. Pretty sure. Okay, I will actually check out what it's about. Let's check this out. To Beyond. Okay, plot. Kazuki Tsukigase. Excuse my Japanese, I'm fucking white. A high school boy transferred to Sekijama High School. Excuse my Japanese, I'm fucking white. Oh no. Don't forget to unsubscribe, leave a dislike and a hateful comment. Thank you so much. This is what I need. This is the minimum I have to suffer for this awful humor. Sekijama High School on a remote island. In order to escape his past, the island is home to a mysterious location known as the Cove of Spiriting Away, where people are rumored to disappear. Early one in summer, Kazuki discovers an unconscious girl lying in the cove and brings her to a local hospital. When she awakens, she has no memory of her identity or origin, except for repeatedly murmuring the year 1974. Kazuki finds her name is Nanao, and he becomes involved in uncovering the truth behind Nanao past and the island legends. Actually, you know, like this, like it sounds like really cliche, but like usually when they say like uncovering the mysteries of the island, and it doesn't sounds like you're about to discover some cursed stuff. Basically, like it's always like wholesome type of like storytelling, like really like light storytelling that doesn't hurt anyone and really like a good time. So I'm guessing that like To You and Beyond is actually like quite a good time. The character design is absolutely gorgeous, goddamn. Like it has this atmospheric vibe, and like Sakamoto Days and Princess Kaguya are actually like quite wholesome. So yeah. Okay. Stars and Island. Stars and Island official early access release date trailer. Let's check this out. Okay.
I was always so confused on stage. Was that sparkle from the spotlight? Or the stars in the night sky? But it turns out, even the smallest light can illuminate the whole world. Just like yours.
Sorry, I was thinking about the sugar.
I don't need an
The
audience
friend
or
did
applause
to me
anymore.
earlier.
I just hope you'll stay by my side. And walk along with me.
Wait, what? Okay, so I gotta tell you, like, I was like, so actually, oh no, so she left the city and she's kind of like a star. Okay, so she's like a pop star or something. By the way, really like Spirited Away style of like little like big up. So you do farming, so this is cool. Like maybe some something like, oh my fucking god, I forgot about, like, you do farming, you do, so basically I lost my mind because it's like a very chill activity. It's probably like an interesting like slice of life type of like video game if you like anime, if you're a weeb, you know. And then it's like, by the way, let me tell you about fucking up dragons and fucking up elementals and statues, and I'm like, I didn't expect that. Like, but like, it really seems like wholesome. You build, like, you do farming. Like, I don't know, like, it's not my style of video games, but it is a style that is not toxic, that doesn't put you on suicide watch, and that actually is actually a good time for many things. Stardew Valley, or like oh my fucking god. Okay, I will search for it. What the fuck is the name of this video game? Let me fucking help you. Animal Crossing. Right. So think Animal Crossing, basically. So I really hope that like this is actually like a good time, because like maybe Stardew Valley or Animal Crossing, it is quite a good time. So yeah. Yeah. So let's hope that Tarzan Island is also one as well. All right, let me just finish my... Right. Alright. Let me check how long I've been on. 1 hour 30, not that long. Quite a fun time. Quite a fun time, actually. It was actually great to see you. To see me. Oh my fuck. So let me tell you about, like, early on during the stream, I told you, like, it's been quite some time I've been doing this, and I still don't know how the fuck do you do an intro. And let me tell you about me still not knowing how to do an outro as well. So yeah, I'll leave you there, and as always, be toxic.